Hi, guys, welcome back to Unplugged with Emily here on another channel, Randoms. Yes, this is the show where I will be delivering news in a lighter fashion, yabo. Not in a way that is just like hectic, like over there in Mzansi reality, because sometimes um, dilo di ba tricky over that side because, yes, you can't you can't be, ngendlela ufuna ukuthi ibe ngayo. So for now, I'm gonna give you two stories. One is on Melinda Ferguson. I'm gonna tell you who Melinda Ferguson is very soon, as well as Bheki Cele. I mean, Bheki Cele, he's saying that on that recording he wasn't talking about the Gcaba brothers, and I think we addressed it on the other channel, but here we're going to go more in depth as to what we meant when we said he's not talking about the Gcaba brothers. Okay, starting off with Melinda Ferguson. By the way, welcome to Randoms. If you're new here, please press that like button, subscribe to the channel, and also hit that like button. And welcome to this family. All right, Melinda Ferguson is a publisher and writer and also a journalist. Okay, where I know Melinda Ferguson from is that book that she wrote for Kelly Kumalo. There was a time that Kelly Kumalo actually published a book around 2012 where she was talking about her life story. And I'm sure you saw how it even helped with the documentary to put the character of Kelly Kumalo together without actually even talking to her. I mean, for the Netflix documentary, did you guys know that they didn't talk to Kelly Kumalo? They compiled everything that was publicly available, including the fact of how she grew up and where they had to go to Togoza at some point. It all came from this book that Kelly Kumalo had written with Melinda Ferguson about her life story. So that's where I know her from. And at the time, she was also an editor at True Love magazine. Because what I remember is that article that came out talking about the separation of Kelly Kumalo from Jub, because at the time they were breaking up and she came clean that she was addicted to substances, illegal substances. And Melinda Ferguson was acting like her PR manager or something like that, like rebranding her around that time. And it came with a book as well. She wrote that book and they published it. I don't know how it did. I never read the book, but that's where I remember this lady from. Okay, so yeah, the time when she wrote this book, it was really tough. It was tough on Kelly Kumalo because Jub was going through this hectic case, and now Kelly Kumalo was known to be dating Jub, and of course that clout of him having ended the lives of 4 high school kids. Well, 3, one became brain damaged. It was a hectic time, on the social, not really social media because it wasn't that popping at the time, but I would say media in general. It was a huge story. And in the documentary, they said that Kelly Kumalo was walking with a fur coat in the court, and that white lady who was addressing how she was upset at Kelly in that fur coat walking in court and not taking the whole situation serious, it seemed. So she is also in that Senzo Meiwa documentary as well. And to me, I had a problem with her when she started now pointing at the direction of Mandisa. On the documentary, you guys, she was acting like she was there at that Spaza house when all those actions were unfolding. Before Zandi Kumalo even talked about whining Ambuzi Umandisa, and you see the first suspect is always the woman that is next to who is in a relationship. Why bengambuzanga Umandisa? That all of that, the seed of all of that was sown by Melinda in that documentary. She wanted to know, why isn't Mandisa being questioned? Why is she not a suspect? Why are they only placing Kelly as the suspect? Of course she's gonna speak for Kelly. I mean, Kelly made her money by the book, right? So she had no choice but to speak for where the bread and the butter and the bread is being buttered from. So So for me, I find it quite suspicious, as if she knew more details or had more information about what happened at the spaza house, or the version that she was given, she believes it more than everything else. I mean, for her to boldly come out like that and say, why isn't Mandisa a suspect, even though the house got cleaned up after the crime occurred. I mean, one would think that if Mandisa was implicated in this whole situation, then why are you cleaning up, alleged cleaning up? Why are you doing all of that stuff? So I was a bit brushed the wrong way when she said all of that. I'm like, why? Why, what are you doing? And a lot of people are flying with this thing of hers from the documentary. There are clips that are circulating on social media where they took that part, and people are like, yeah, Vele, the wife, the wife. Why isn't the wife being questioned? Well, we cannot go to the wife until we understand why there was a cleaning up, until we understand what actually happened. Okay, I'm not going to entertain that theory, in my opinion, because I feel like it's too distracting. You understand? So behind this complicated cover up, she was very much in defense of Kelly and how she defended her. I mean, you'd believe she was also in that spaza house if you watch the documentary and listen to her and her commentary and everything as to how it unfolded. And also that's part of the confirmation of our confirmed that the background of Kelly in the documentary was gotten from her, because she's the one who wrote that book, which also brings the question of, did Kelly Kumalo tell the truth when she said she didn't know that they were making the documentary? I think she knew. I mean, if the author that wrote her biography was in the documentary, I'm sure she hinted to her and told her something, Well, now she has entangled herself, Melinda Ferguson. She's entangled herself in another high-profile case, the AKA and Tips murder case, She took the angle of focusing on the relationship that AKA had with Nelly Tembe. Now, for those who may not know who Melinda Ferguson is, she has other books. Apparently, she also wrote a book on Oscar Pistorius. I don't know that book. But my fascination with her is, why is she profiting off of black controversial trauma? I don't know. Somebody needs to answer that question for me, because I feel like she's so obsessed. Not even obsessed. So obsessed is not the right word. She looks to high-profile cases that are in relation to celebrities that are of this color. Not that there are no controversial stories happening in the other race. There are, and they are far much worse than these ones. So for me, the timing of it, everything, it's just wrong. It just feels wrong. Okay, but she says now she will be releasing a book about Anele Tembe and AKA's toxic relationship before their tragic passing. Anele Tembe died from injuries sustained from a fall from the 10th floor of the Pepper Club Hotel in Cape Town in April of 2021. AKA was murdered along with his friend Tibbs, businessman Tibello Tibbs Mutswani, and we all know what happened to them. It was all over social media on Florida Road on the 10th of February 2023. Now, news of the book was first leaked on social media on the anniversary of Anele Tembe's passing 3 years ago. 3 years ago, yes, 2021 is when the incident happened. So this year, 2024, marked 3 years since that incident of Anele losing her life. And Melinda Ferguson on her Facebook said that she had never worked harder on a book, and that she has never been more freaked out by a story, and that she has never kept a secret like she has kept this one. But the news has just been leaked on social media. She wrote on her Facebook, so, and I quote, there's also an image here I want you guys to see of the actual post where she's talking about this whole book that she has written, and it says here, so here it is from the Fire Horse's mouth. My new book will hit the shelves next week. It's been a real journey to get this out. It nearly killed my own relationship. It's a story that broke my heart. So according to the publishing company that she also uses, When Love Kills is expected to hit next week. A description of the book reads, When Love Kills is the tale of hip-hop star AKA whose life unraveled when he embarked on a relationship with a 21-year-old Anele Tembe. A description of the book reads, according to NB Publishers, When Love Kills is the tale of hip-hop star AKA whose life unraveled when he embarked on a relationship with a 21-year-old Anele Tembe when she fell to her death from the 10th story of the Pepper Club in April 2021 after a long night of heated arguing. So they did argue. Details would emerge that they'd been caught up in a whirlwind of toxic obsession, alleged substance abuse, and violence. And of course, we cannot forget those images where there was a breaking of the door and AKA was running through it, and he looked in it was very disturbing images, even videos of Anele Tembe on social media breaking stuff and saying that get him away from me or something like that. Those images are still there on the internet, so that's confirmation that the relationship was not as pleasant as we saw on Instagram. So less than 2 years later, AKA was assassinated in what looked like a hit to avenge her death, and this is their tragic story. Now I was wondering if she had permission from the Forbes family and Tembe family to write and publish this book like she did with Kelly in the past. Well, turns out she responded to her Facebook followers, and she said that she shared and she spoke intensively to both sides of the families and received permission. So she's saying that she received permission from the Forbes family as well as the Tembe family to write this book. So if they gave her permission, then who are we to not want to have her get her coin? Because the timing of this, considering the fact that the case is happening, is very wow to me, in my opinion. And what new information from this book, that has already not been shared in the public? What exclusive information did they give her is what I'm quite interested in finding out. And Anele Tembe's father, Moses Tembe, gave his blessing and they're glad that she will be remembered. She described the story on a tragedy about two young and talented people who are no longer with us. But she got the permission from both families, and because she did not write about Anele only, she also wrote about AKA. We're gonna take it that she got permission from the Forbes family as well, because that's what she's saying. So the news of the book received mixed reactions on social media. Some were asking if it's not too soon. Even myself, I feel like it's too soon. In South Africa, there's this tendency now that is developing, and it started with the Senzo Meyiwa case. But with the Senzo Meyiwa case, it was different because the details of the case were not that available. You understand what I'm saying? We couldn't quite, it was more like a summary of everything that was happening over the last 5 years before the documentary was released, or they started making it. But now it seems like there's this trend of profiting from people's tragedies, and I don't know how I feel about that. For example, even the Thabo Bester documentary, the trial has not yet begun, and they even took them to court, and the judge overruled and said that there was nothing new that would interfere with the trial that is in the documentary. But I feel like there's this new culture of just wanting to profit off of these tragic stories in a way that's just rubbing me off in the wrong way. It's developing to become like a trend, And I'm bothered by it. I don't know why, but I'm seriously bothered by it. Sometimes I wish they could wait for the trial to conclude and then do the work, do the documentaries, do the books, do everything after the trial. But now it's like even before we go to court, someone is trying to give us a perception already. Someone is coming with a narrative already. And I don't know how I feel about that. I don't know anymore because I'm so conflicted right now. I'm like, people are profiting off of people's painful situations. But then if she got permission from the families, who are we to judge? Maybe they're going to share the proceeds with the families of this book. We don't know. We don't know at this point. So she has been writing this book for 3 years. And a lot of people are asking, why is it not a documentary instead? I don't want to lie also. Like, this feels like a money-making scheme to me, but what can I say? You know, making money out of someone's trauma is mad business to me. It is mad business to me. I don't understand it. I don't get it. And also, why can't we wait for the trial to unfold and then we will start making material after? What happened to that? Why do we always have to rush, before we release all of these details to the public? I'm not comfortable with it at all. But you guys can tell me what you think. Maybe I'm over-exaggerating and being somehow not helping the situation. But you let me know. Is this... where are we headed as South Africa? I mean, what happened to, respecting certain things? Everybody wants to make money, but where do we draw the line? So the NPA reopened Anele's case sometime last year, and I wonder what the progress is on that case. If Melinda has already written a book pertaining to the situation and the relationship, and we heard that the case of Anele has been reopened because there were allegations, that this relationship was in fact toxic. I would like to know with regards to that. And it's also another tricky situation. The trial has not yet began. We are being introduced to books and documentaries. And once she started with this book, obviously it's going to develop into a documentary at a later stage. They did use her book for the Netflix one. So, So you guys tell me what you think. Tell me what you think. But that one, I do not have as much smoke for that because it helped us understand the Senzo Meiwa documentary. It helped us understand what was going on because we didn't know what was going on before the trial began. And it helped a lot of us understand what was happening, the nitty-gritties. So this one, we kind of know. It's still fresh. It's still amped in our memories. The social media, we know. We have a clue of what happened. Do we need to be reminded again of what is happening over and over and over and over again? To me, that's not good. But then does it have the potential of ruining the trial as well? Can it ruin the trial? We've seen how the documentary has kind of ruined, I wouldn't say ruin, but it has made it difficult in the court to believe certain stories. So is this book also not going to do the same thing when it comes to the trial? Is it not going to interfere with the trial? That's another question I have. And what other information does Melinda have regarding this tragic love story that she's describing? Does she have any extra information? Does she know what happened on that night Anele died, or the morning, because it was in the morning, Sunday morning? Where did she get the full details, Some point we have to ask these pertaining information. I mean, the people that she's writing about are gone. So how do you actually write such a book? And the cover as well. The book cover, me, I don't like it. It's too dark. Looks, I wish this book I didn't take place. But the most important question that I have to ask you guys is, how do you write a book about people that you've never met or sat down and talked to or know them personally? Asaz, we will see, but I'm not gonna be reading that book. I wanna see the trial. I wanna hear what's happening in the trial. I'm not gonna be reading it. I don't wanna lie. Maybe angas, but I'm not gonna be reading it. So the police minister Bheki Cele also has dismissed a viral social media post suggesting that he's frightened of the Gcaba brothers who run a minibus taxi empire in KwaZulu-Natal. Remember how you guys, we talked on the other channel that on that clip and footage, he wasn't talking about the Gcaba brothers. Well, we found out who he was talking about. He said the Gcaba family name came under the spotlight in the AKA and Tibbs case. Last month, the Durban Magistrate Court heard that the detective investigating the murders traced the source of an 800,000 rands payment to one of the accused, Mzwatemba Kwabeni, a day after AKA and Tibbs were murdered, to businessman Sidney Mfundo Gcaba. So the Gcaba family said that the money was purely for business purposes and had nothing to do with the murders. So as questions emerged about why Gcaba, though mentioned in the investigations, was not arrested, a short video of Cele speaking to JJ Tabani on frank dialogue about a businessman who is feared in KwaZulu-Natal trended. Though Cele did not name the businessman, the post said that Cele says he is scared of the Gcaba brothers at the weekend during the funeral of Surgeon Sibongiseni Khoza Cele, and said the posts were spreading misinformation as he was talking about an Inanda taxi boss, Siyabonga Getsemane. On the footage, let me play it for you guys, the ones that have not heard the footage. So if you're coming across this video for the first time, the footage that I'm talking about is this one, Cele 1. Yeah. Yeah, usho njalo. He's telling us to get out of social media and to stop analyzing. Well, I'm not sure if I'm gonna stop, but loosely translated, he said that he spoke to JJ last year about the construction mafia And he said, I said that there is someone they, the contractors, are scared of. People on social media wrote, Cele says he's scared of the Gcaba family. The person I was talking about is Getsemane from Melinda, who owns more than 1,000 taxis, and people are scared of him, he said. So Cele said that Getsemane and his bodyguards were arrested in November after they allegedly marched onto a construction site threatening to take over. 12 armed people went to a construction site, and the businessman told the contractors, "You must leave here. I am in charge now." The owners called the police for help, and when the contractors fled the site, they used trucks to block the road, and police found the suspects on site. He said, "We arrested Getsemane and 12 bodyguards, and now he's suing for 100 million for the arrests." 100 million. So people on social media must stop talking about things they do not know. That is us. Yes, that is us. But we did not do that. We got a tweet and we used a tweet to talk about it. Okay? That is not us. We take what is publicly available and we talk about it. But it's a good thing that you corrected it, Minister. Yes, it's very good when you come and correct the misinformation. Oh, yes. And he says, "I am not scared of anyone. We deal with thugs and criminals, and people on social media must stop spreading misinformation," he said. So here are some of another video that I came across on social media describing one of the Getsemane family associate or family members. And the story is narrated in Zulu, but I'll try my best to translate what the gentleman was saying. I came across the description of this Getsemane is somewhat similar to the initial descriptions that were there about the Gcaba brothers, but let's hear him. Let's hear what he has to say.
Angize ngilithole ithuba anongibongela kwirazo uGetsemane anobonga kuyona uthi hayi yakashaya iphone call nami ayingaphuma ogibeni shuthi angilasha kwelinye lamalokishi ne engengisalisho ngegama mangifika khona ayi qhamuka iGD6 qhamuka ikhokoroshe neAvanza zingijemele imoto zo3 phuma amadoda asehlaza ngikhombe ngezibhamu. "Yeah, wena ufuna la uthi unyoba ucele ba uzolayisha la wena." Hey ha. Hayi madoda mina ngithi unyosi bani umlungu wami akayenako umuntu omnyama so ngisho yena straight. "So asimazi lo muntu thina kanje angazosijwayela akuthatha kancane badonsa ukhiye bangixavuna bangihlise ebhasini." Lo munye athi ngimfonele umlungu. Ngathi ngisathi ngikhipha ifoni angishaya ngempama. Ayibo, hawu mfethu ngishayelani ngizokuphinda wena. Fonela umlungu wakho manje sheshisa. Donsa ifoni ngimfonela umlungu. Umlungu ngiyashawa-ke manje. Ngishawela ibhasi yakho 1 2 3 kanje. Athi ulaphi? Ngithi ngisendaweni ethize. Athi mtshela umlungu wakho ukuthi sifuna lo 10,000 kanti sebegijime bawubuza ama-passenger ngale umunye wabo ukuthi baqashe ngamalini ibhasi. Mase kuyavela uthi 10,000 ne. Babuye bazotshela mina ukuthi angitshela umlungu ukuthi bafuna 10,000. Athi umlungu badakiwe kanti baku-loud speaker. Ngayivala ifoni. Hayi angiphinde ngempama lo munye umjida. Hayi yazi ifoni yami kwafuna umuntu inamba engingayazi. Yathi hello wena oshawayo because kangikade ngimile kusho umlungu wamanika irazo yena uGetsemane nabo. Yangifonela-ke irazo efonini yami. Thema ngithi ngiringa ifoni ngiyibambe futhi uyiphendule file loudspeaker kusho lamadoda lawo. Ngiyiphendule ngifake loudspeaker ithi hello ngisaxa ukuthi yabale namba. Ithi irazo yawo ukhuluma nosibani kanje. Woba laba bakushayayo. Hayi yabona ukuzizwa uNkulunkulu for a couple of seconds. Ngathi ngibuka lo okade pressa kakhulu ngokungishaya washintsha same time ebusweni. Ubona umuntu mezosola ukuthi yo aze ngazisula. Mina ngiqala leyanto. kwathiwa lelo bhasi lithunyelwe yimina manje inkinga ikuphi uba unenkinga lapho kunina kwathi nya ifoni yami ngayiphamba ngesandla ngiyaqhaqhazela ngoba phela manje ngiyashawa futhi ngishawa abantu abaphethe ibhamu futhi baningi yabo and kuyabukwa umphakathi uyazibukela nje nalabo basebhasini ba more than 65 bayazibukela kwehli nanoyedwa uzongikhulumela hey ngabona madoda athi siyaxolisa bhuti besikazi ukuthi kanje wathi lalelani la madoda mawunihlula umsebenzi anokhuluma wathi futhi sizohlangana wathi hayi lutho bhuti siyaxolisa hayi kwabe kuvalwa ikhole kwawukhamba kwami lawo maraza escorta ngaze ngaphuma kulelo lokishi ngathi sengibuya futhi ntambama ngafice ngilindile ngi-escorta ngifaka ngaphakathi nga-offload ngaphinde ngaphuma axolisa futhi ntambama ngaxolisa ngalesa sikhathi akaxolisa wathi hayi siyaxolisa ndoda besingazi ukuthi ngathi kodwa ningilimazile because vele ngangise
that's what he's saying, was that he was transporting people, I think in a bus, and there came a motor vehicle and an Avanza, and he said a G68 or something like that. And he says that these people started beating him up because they were asking him who gave him permission to load people in that area. And then they asked him to call his boss and put his boss on the phone because now they wanted him to be fined a fine of 10,000 rands. And the boss answered the phone and he was getting beaten up. He says these people that were talking to his boss over the phone were also slapping him and stuff. And he was saying that they said to the boss that they want a fine of 10,000 rands, and he said the boss told them they are never gonna get that money or something like that. They are never gonna get it. They are drunk or something like that. And then they slapped him again. And then his boss hung up, and he said after a few minutes he got a phone call from a number that he did not have stored on his phone. And then when he answered that phone call, it was a Razo, one of the Getsemane brothers or family associate. And he says that they told these people that were beating him up that is there a problem, is there a problem, and what are you doing, what do you want, do you have a problem, because if you have a problem then I will come and address it or something like that. And they stopped, and he said for a moment there he felt like he felt like a boss for that moment. He felt like, he's invincible or something like that. Like the world stopped when this man spoke and told these people what he was telling them over the phone. And he says he saw one of them literally quiver in fear. And they said they apologized and they let him go. And he was like, yeah, that's when he saw that, these people are powerful. So you guys, that's it. That's a sneak peek into who Bheki Cele was talking about. Minister Bheki Cele in particular was talking about. And that's it from me. I'm cutting it here. It's not safe, okay? So, yes, we'll see you on the next video of Unplugged with Emily. And please don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe to the channel, please. Until next time, bye.